Hi, my name is Nanci Dalton, and my mistakes do not define me. God wastes nothing. When I was around 14 years old, I began to drink alcohol quite a bit, and at an early age, I was introduced to it by my parents, who had parties most every weekend. And as a 6-year-old, I can remember knowing how to make a martini and not thinking a thing about it. And I just guess I thought our life was normal, that was the way all households were. And then I found out that it wasn't, especially when I went to other friends' homes and saw that their parents might not drink. So as my family grew older, as I grew older, I came to find out that we had a generational curse. And of course, at the time, I didn't know that because I wasn't a believer, I wasn't a Christian. And my grandfather was an alcoholic. My father was an alcoholic. My mother was an alcoholic. And by the grace of God, I am a recovered 13-year, reformed, delivered, set-free alcoholic. And by the grace of God is the only reason that I am able to make each day count for Him, because He's the one that does it. As I said, I started drinking very young, and it spiraled. I drank every day. I drank a lot every day, and until I was around 41 years old, and the Lord came into my life. And with that, I prayed to receive the Lord in February of 2001. That very day that I received the Lord, I had 3 very close friends that had been praying for me for years. And they began to pray after I was saved that God would remove alcohol from my life. But they never told me. They never said a word. And people used to ask me all the time, why do you drink? Do you like being high? Do you like that goofy feeling? And I'd always say, no, I like the way it tastes. I enjoy the way it tastes. And so I drank a lot. I drank every day. My children saw me drink. They never saw me drunk because most functioning alcoholics can drink every day and generally not get drunk. So they were in the house where it was available all the time. It was in the refrigerator. It was everywhere. We had a bar. And so when I became a believer, the Lord started working on my heart. And in my naive mind, I really thought that I was going to be able to continue to drink and I could go into bars and witness to people. But God had a different plan. And 8 months after I was saved, on October 30th, one night around 5 o'clock, I was pouring a glass of wine. And you have to understand, as a person who drinks, you can't wait for that 5 o'clock hour. A lot of days it came earlier because I really needed that drink. And so that night I poured a glass of wine and took a sip. And it was horrific. And I thought, well, the bottle's bad, so I'll just pour it out and I'll open another one. So I did. And I took a sip of that, and it was even worse than the first. And I thought, well, tonight it's going to be different. I'm not going to drink wine. I'm going to have a beer. So I got out a frozen mug out of the freezer, got a cold beer, poured it, and I took a sip. And in that very moment, the taste was so horrific. And He just came over me, and I said, okay, God, I get it. I get it. I always said the only reason I drank is because I loved the taste, and you took the taste away. That was the only way you could really get my attention, I guess, and it did. So in that moment, that was the last I ever drank and have drunk in 13 years, and it was the first real tangible sign from God after becoming a believer and a follower of Christ that I had. During what I like to call my transformation, the Lord was really showing me that He had this huge plan. You know, Jeremiah 29:11 says that He has a plan, and it's a plan of good and not of evil. And, you know, the enemy the devil wanted to take me down at every turn, because being a new believer, that's when you start getting attacked. But you know, the enemy can't win, not when you're filled with the Spirit of the living God. He can't win. And with that, he showed me, okay, you've gone through this. Now, you're going to go out and you're going to share this. You're going to share what I've done in your life with others. And it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. It gives me an opportunity to share his love just right where they are, and to say, okay, here's my past, but here's my future. Here's my present. This is what God has done. I am better than I ever was. He has restored and just taken the ashes away, and it's become beautiful. And God can take all of the bad that the enemy had, just like Romans 8:28 says. He turns it for our good, for our good. He does that for those who love him and who are called according to his purpose and his plan. And that's what he's done in my life many times over. And just because I was a drinker, that does not define who I am. That does not give me my destiny. My destiny is freedom and victory through Jesus Christ. God is a redeemer. He's a restorer. And with all of that being said, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, God wastes nothing.